Have you ever looked back on relationship and thought the signs were there from the beginning? So why did they stay? Today, we're talking about the red flags we often see, recognize, and even talk about, but still choose to ignore because the fear of being alone feels bigger than the fear of getting hurt. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Real Talk. For today's episode, we're talking about something that almost everyone has experienced at some point in life, whether you're a Filipina, a foreign man, married, dating, young, or older. We're talking about the red flags we ignore because we don't want to be alone. And here's the truth: most people don't enter bad relationships because they are foolish. Most people enter bad relationships because they are hopeful. They want love, they want companionship, they want someone to share life with. And sometimes the desire becomes so strong that we start explaining away things that should have made us stop and think. We don't ignore red flags because we can't see them. Many times, we ignore them because we don't want them to be true. Have you ever met someone who seemed perfect almost immediately? They tell you they've never met anyone like you. They start talking about the future after only a few weeks. They shower you with compliments. They make you feel special. No, attention is not the problem. The problem is when emotional intimacy grows faster than genuine trust. Real relationships take time. Real love is built, but some people become attached to the feeling of being wanted before they truly know the person. And when the excitement is so intense, we often overlook the fact that we know very little about who that person really is. Because when you've been lonely for a long time, being adored can feel like love, even when it isn't. One of the most common relationship mistakes is believing words over patterns. Someone says, I love you. I'll always be here. You can't trust me. But then they disappear when you need them. They break promises. They avoid accountability. They make excuses. And yet many people stay because they focus on what the person says rather than what the person consistently does. Actions reveal character. Words reveal intention, and sometimes those two things are very different. A healthy relationship is not built on promises, it's built on reliability. This one is tricky because it often starts small. The third red flag: control disguised as love. At first, it sounds scaring. Why are you talking to him? Why are you wearing that? I just worry about you. I only want what's best for you. And sometimes it really does come from the concern. But there is a line between caring and controlling. A person who loves you should not make you feel like you need permission to exist. Love should not feel like walking on eggshells. You should not feel anxious every time your phone rings. You should not feel guilty for having friends, hobbies, or a life outside the relationship. Control often arrives wearing the mask of protection. That's why many people don't recognize it until much later. And then the fourth one, red flag, is falling in love with potential. This one affects many good hearted people, especially people who are compassionate. You meet someone with problems. Maybe they have financial issues. Maybe they struggle emotionally. Maybe they have unresolved baggage. And instead of seeing who they are today, you focus on who they could become. You tell yourself, they'll change, they just need support. They've had a hard life. They'll be different when things improve. And sometimes people do change, but relationships should never be built on future possibilities. They should be built on present realities. You cannot date someone's potential. You can only date who they are right now. And going to the fifth red flag, you keep making excuses. This is where many people get stuck. Every time something happens, there's a reason. He was stressed. She didn't mean it. He's having a difficult time. She's just emotional. One excuse becomes 10. 10 becomes 50. And eventually, the relationship survives not because it's healthy, but because one person keeps explaining away unhealthy behavior. Everyone deserves grace. Nobody's perfect, but there is a difference between understanding someone's mistake and becoming trapped in a cycle of excuses. A pattern is a pattern. A patterns matter. Now, the sixth red flag, the fear of being alone, is driving your decisions. This may be the hardest truth in today's episode because sometimes we stay not because the relationship is good, we stay because the alternative scares us. Being alone feels frightening. Starting over feels exhausting. Dating again feels uncertain. And so we convince ourselves that staying is easier. But loneliness inside a relationship can be far more painful than loneliness outside one. There are people sleeping next to someone every night who feel completely alone. There are people in long term relationships who haven't felt emotionally connected for years. Having someone is not the same as having a healthy relationship, and that distinction matters. The red flag nobody talks about. Here's one people rarely mention. Sometimes the biggest red flag is not the other person. Sometimes it's the voice inside us that keeps saying, maybe it'll get better. Maybe I'm asking for too much. Maybe I should just be grateful. Maybe this is the best I can get. That voice can keep us trapped for years, not because we are weak, but because hope is powerful. Hope can keep people fighting for relationships. But hope without reality can also keep people suffering in them. The goal of this video isn't to make people suspicious of love. It's the opposite. The goal is to help people recognize the difference between love and loneliness. Because loneliness can make almost any attention feel valuable. Loneliness can make almost any relationship feel necessary. Loneliness can convince us to accept treatment that we never accepted if we truly believe our worth. The healthiest relationships are not built on fear of being alone. They are built on mutual respect, trust, consistency, and genuine care. And sometimes the most courageous thing a person can do is stop ignoring what they've known all along. Because a red flag doesn't become green simply because we want it to. And the sooner we face the truth, the sooner we create space for the kind of love that doesn't require us to make excuses for it. And yeah, now for those who are genuinely looking for a relationship that is more grounded in faith, values, and real commitment, there are also platforms like Christian Filipina dating site that some people explore when they are no longer interested in games, but in something more intentional and aligned with what they truly believe in. Yes, I'll leave the link in the description box and also pin it in the comments so you can check it out if you want to explore it further. And if this video spoke to you in any way, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real talks like this. You can also leave a comment. And yes, I always read them and it really helps keep these conversations going. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in the next one. This is JM Roots and Real Talk. Mabuhay! God bless us all.